How to get rid of a double chin by a drainage expert. Now, if you're somebody who has been dealing with like the turkey neck or getting that double chin and you're really uncomfortable with it and you're like, what the heck? Like this kind of came on overnight, or this has been a gradual thing and I didn't notice it, but all of a sudden I look completely different. Well, I've got you, because we're going to go through a couple exercises and one specific drainage routine to really make sure that this is draining. But you're going to want to stay till the end, because I'm going to talk about a couple other things that could be contributing to why you're dealing with excess fluid in that area. So first things first, we got to make sure that that area, especially our neck, is nice and loose. Most of us have really bad posture. I mean, come on, we're doing this all day. We're on the computer and our shoulders are rounded, our heads down, and we're typing away like this. So first things first, let's take a peek at what is our posture telling us. What is it doing? So what I want you to do right now, and do this with me, is we're going to bring our ears over our shoulders. So instead of our head being forward like this, I want you to bring it back. Now, one thing you can do if you're like, how do I know if I'm bringing it back enough? Go stand against the wall. So your heels are going to touch the wall, your butt's going to touch the wall, your shoulders are going to touch the wall, and the back of your skull is going to touch the wall. Those points, when they're touching the wall, is the proper posture that we should be in. And you know what? I bet you it's going to be kind of difficult because you're not going to be used to it. And that's okay. The more you do it, the easier it's going to be. So we're going to bring our head back. The next thing we're going to do with our shoulders is we're going to take our shoulders back and down. So we're gonna like roll our shoulders back and down. Think about tucking your shoulder blades, because most of our shoulder blades are forward. We're gonna tuck our shoulder blades down as if we're tucking them into the back pockets of our jeans. Okay. Now, why that's important is we want to make sure that we are bringing our shoulders back and down. I'm not doing this. Can you see I'm not sticking my chest out? I'm not bringing my shoulders and elbows back. That's not what we're doing. Really, what we're doing is we're just bringing it back and down so that we can maintain that nice straight line. Okay. So once we have good posture, and you might have to work on this for a while, this might be the first step you do until this starts to loosen up. You might actually have to loosen up your pec muscles. So going against a wall and stretching out those pec muscles might not be a bad thing to do, because what that's going to do is it's going to open up your shoulders. And when our shoulders are open, our drainage, our termini is going to be open, because one of the things that causes fluid to build up is congestion at our termini. But before we get to that, a couple other things that we're gonna do. Take note of where your tongue is. Your tongue should be resting on the roof of your mouth. It should be suctioned up to the roof of your mouth. Now, why? Well, your tongue is the strongest muscle. And if it's sitting down in our jaw, like between our bottom teeth, our mandible, what's happening is it's not actually helping the lymphatic fluid from our mandible, from our mouth, to drain. So the next thing you really got to do is tongue on the roof of our mouth. And what I want you to do is suction it up, and we're going to open our mouth slowly and close it slowly. We're going to do this 10 times, and then we're going to do that 3 times. So let's do it one round together. So tongue up. And when you open it, you want to hold it for at least 2 seconds so you feel that stretch at the bottom of your tongue. Now, when we're doing this, we want to open our mouth as wide as we can. So we're going to do that 10 times. So we did 3, now let's do. Now you might feel that and you might be like, oh my goodness, that is pulling, that's tight. Yeah, that's something that we gotta work on. We gotta get our tongue to the roof of our mouth. That's gonna help with sinus drainage. That's gonna help with cleaning your teeth. It's really gonna help with a whole bunch of things, but specifically, it's gonna help with getting a nice snatched jawline. So repeat that 2 more times. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch out our SCM. So that muscle comes from our skull and it comes down to our clavicle. So what I want you to do is we're gonna tilt our head, our ear to our shoulder, keeping our shoulders relaxed. And what I'd like you to do is with the hand, the opposite shoulder that you're going ear to shoulder from, I want you to reach your hand down. So what that's gonna look like is this. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold this stretch for 15 to 20 seconds. And then we're gonna go to the other side. So bring your ear down as far as you can without turning it. We wanna keep our nose straight. Bring it down, reach down with our hand if you need to. If this is more than enough stretch, stay here. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, reach down. And you should feel that all in the side of your neck, down to your shoulders. You might even feel it a little bit in front. But the next stretch that we're gonna do is really gonna target the front of our neck. So we're gonna do that 3 times each side, holding each stretch 15 to 20 seconds. The next stretch that I want you to do, we're gonna do the same thing, ear to shoulder, but we're gonna turn our chin up. And then, you guessed it, reach down with that other hand. And you should really feel that stretch in the front side of your neck. Now you might be asking yourself, why the heck am I doing these stretches to improve my chin? Well, muscles help with lymphatic fluid drainage. And a lot of times that double chin is fluid. Now, it can be weight, and like I said, we'll get to that at the end. But if it's fluid, and if you have lymphatic fluid, which guess what? We have so many lymphatic vessels in our mouth. And so if all of our muscles here are tight and preventing that lymphatic fluid to drain, it's gonna build up. So that's why it's so important to do these stretches and to work on our posture. Now don't forget to do the other side. So we're gonna tilt our ear to our shoulder, turn our chin up, and then if you want, reach down with the opposite hand that your ear is going to your shoulder to, and you should feel that nice stretch in your neck. You can even look up to the ceiling and give yourself an even deeper stretch. So do each side 3 times, hold each stretch 15 to 20 seconds. All right, those are the few things that I want you to do before we get into the lymphatic drainage component. You ready? All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear our termini. So we're gonna go above our collarbones, and if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to termini, go watch some of my other videos. I go into specific detail about how to find it, how to locate it, pressure, direction, all of that kind of stuff. And so we're gonna do anywhere between 10 and 50 pumps or circles after we do our termini. Because remember, all of the fluid drains here. So if we're congested here, if we are puffy here, we're not gonna get any drainage from up here. So we gotta make sure that this is clear first. After we clear our termini, we're gonna then move on to our tonsillar nodes. And you can do one side at a time or both sides. I like to do both sides. I'm all about doing things as efficiently as possible. And we're gonna do the same thing 10 to 50 times after we do our tonsillar. Because we're working on the bottom of our chin, I'm gonna show you what to do specifically for the double chin. Now, I'm gonna recommend though that whenever you're doing facial drainage, which this is gonna be considered facial drainage, that you do go and do the pre and post auricular, and you also do the occipital. Why? That's just gonna really open up all the major lymph nodes in your head and neck to allow for full drainage. That's ideal. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from the tonsillar to the submandibular. So what you're gonna do is, starting at the angle of your jaw, we're gonna do little circles. And how you're gonna do it is you're gonna keep your head straight, but I'm tilting up so you can see. And we're just gonna do little circles all under the bottom of our chin. Bonus point, if you can keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth when you do this. And then I go back out. And then go back to our tonsillar. Go back to our termini. And there you have it. Now, I would definitely repeat this whole routine, stretches, posture, and the drainage component every day, at least once a day, for a couple weeks. Usually people start to see a difference within the first 2 weeks. Now, there are some other things that can be contributing to double chin, and that can be weight gain. So if you're somebody that has all of a sudden put on excess weight, some things you can do is look into like anti-inflammatory diets. A lot of times it's inflammation that's preventing drainage. So switching over to an anti-inflammatory diet like the Mediterranean or the paleo diet can be really beneficial. Another thing is making sure that you're properly hydrated and that you're getting adequate sleep. Remember, our head only drains at night while we're sleeping. So if you're not sleeping well enough, you're probably not going to be draining very well. So look into those couple things, and don't forget, let me know how it goes below. I can't wait to hear how your double chin became a snatched jawline by implementing these tools. Thanks for being here, and happy draining.